Here's something that no one ever assumes from looking at me or my work, and that is that I struggle with being seen. How does one dare take creative action, which can be scary enough, when you never feel good enough? My feelings of unworthiness were or are rooted in chronic childhood trauma. It's still something I work to continue to heal. And what I'm going to present in today's video is part of that journey. It's what I wish I had known way sooner. Understanding the role of my mind in my creative and business pursuits would have helped me struggle far less and accomplish so much more. It wasn't psychotherapy that helped me gain creative confidence. It was learning how to cultivate a compassionate, growth mindset-oriented creative practice. It's what we do together in the Creative Practice Workshop. What I'm about to share isn't something that I learned in my training to be a therapist, nor was there any emotional intelligence training in business school where back in the day you would have seen me sitting in the back of the room trying not to cry while I wished I had the courage to do all the pitching and presentations that are a daily part of business school that I saw my fellow students do, but that terrified me. Everyone else seemed to be able to do it so effortlessly. And that's what I also observed in any art class I've ever taken as well. And speaking of effortless, I like to spell it this way. This video is part of a short masterclass I've put together for you called The 6 Keys to Effortless Creating. It's what I really craved when I was so caught in that emotional struggle. It's the distillation of the raw ingredients that I'd wish I'd known about then and now rely on every single day, not only in my art and my work, but in my life and my continuing healing process. This masterclass happens over a few short videos, and this is the first one. If you want to create and are ready to finally have that breakthrough where you stop second guessing yourself, doubting yourself, or procrastinating, you're in the right spot. I'm Lisa Sonora, and I just wanted to say hi before I jump behind the slides. I'm going to share some of my own story with you, but what I really hope you'll take away is that if you've struggled to create for any reason, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. So many of the struggles that we have when it comes to our creativity will become clear and make so much more sense once you've watched this masterclass. I've been a self-employed visual artist and writer pretty much my whole career. And you may be familiar with my first book called The Creative Entrepreneur. And the reason I'm mentioning this book here is because so many of you dream of having your work published. And I was able to create and publish this original work by using the keys to effortless creating that I'm sharing with you in this masterclass. So I began my career as a music and art therapist and very quickly decided that psychiatric hospitals were pretty much the least likely place to experience wellness. And it's a longer story, but I made a leap into advertising, went to business school, and then launched my own agency in San Francisco back in 2003, which is the same year that I started blogging about my creative process. And during this whole time, I've designed and led hundreds of workshops on creativity. So as an artist and in my work as a psychotherapist and creativity coach, I found that what holds people back from creating is fear and confusion, not mechanics. So what do I mean by that? What's really going on? Fear and confusion attacks us where we're vulnerable and takes so many hidden forms we don't realize that's what the culprit is. We assume something's wrong with us, but we don't know what it is or how to fix it. And then we make assumptions like, I'm not good enough, and we end up talking ourselves out of our creative ideas before we even get started. Or we get stuck in cycles of starting and stopping projects, but never finishing. If you've tried to create and failed, you might think, I just don't have the discipline, or maybe not the right personality, or even good ideas. You might think you can't focus, or just don't have what it takes. That's the bad news. And here's the good news. The problem isn't any of those things. The real problem is that you're missing the map of the creative process itself. And that would be a lot like traveling to a foreign city without knowing the language and trying to navigate that city without a map. It'd be so frustrating if you got lost. You'd be confused, maybe even afraid. And I've done tons of international travel and wilderness travel, and so I make a lot of parallels between creativity and travel into the unknown. And so this is just like when you're pursuing a creative project if you don't know the territory. So the real problem is it's not you. When it comes to wanting to create and not being able to, we assume there's something wrong with us. But what we're really missing is this framework or guide for creating that takes into consideration something really important, which is our emotional life. These 6 keys together give you a clear roadmap that you can use to figure out exactly where and how you've been stuck, how to move forward, and then how to stay on track with any creative project. It's not about mechanics, because the 6 keys take into account your whole being, the emotional and mental blocks, but also give you practical how-to action steps. And keep in mind your spiritual well-being. And by spiritual, I mean your inner life. It's a whole package. Without addressing your inner life, which is made up of your thoughts and feelings and the habits and beliefs they produce, no amount of technique, goal setting, or motivational mojo is going to help. Maybe you've tried therapy to get over your stage fright or writer's block. Or you signed up for coaching to get clarity about how to turn your art into a business, but then you got stuck in the same old pattern of doubt before you launched. Maybe you've bought all the nicest planners and tried every productivity and motivation class out there, and you're still not creating the way you want. And you probably know what you need to do or what you want to do, but you're not doing it. So what's up with that? Which brings us to the very first key. And we're going to dive right into the emotional ocean here, because this is the place where people get so overwhelmed. This is where fear lives, and we're going in. Are you ready? So if you don't already have something to write with, I recommend using the workbook that goes with this training to take notes and capture your aha moments, because I know you're going to discover a lot as we continue. And if you don't have the workbook, no worries. Just grab a pen and plain old paper or notebook, and let's go. So the first key is all about mastering your mindset. So you know all those thoughts you have about yourself or your art not being good enough, not feeling worthy of creating, especially if it's not to sell something? There's nothing wrong with you. All that's happening is you're being ruled by a mindset that isn't serving you. Now, mindset isn't just about what you think. Your mindset makes up a whole spectrum of being, your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors. What you think and feel creates a belief system that operates subconsciously. Now, what's so great about that is that your mindset can be managed, modified, and mastered until it's serving you. So mastering your mindset is really about being the boss of your own mind. And it begins with awareness. So in the workbook that goes with this masterclass, there are some worksheets to help you start connecting the dots between what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what you're doing. The second key to effortless creating is all about meaning. So let me ask you a question. Do you struggle with staying motivated to create? Or what about having the discipline to do your creative work? What if I told you that your struggles with disciplining yourself and trying to motivate yourself are very well intentioned, but misguided? Just take that in for a minute. And if you cringed at the word discipline and want to turn off this video, I don't blame you, but stay with me because there's a solution. A strong sense of meaning is what really drives you forward and toward your creative desires in a way that's so much more powerful than motivation or discipline alone. And that's because when we're aligned with our higher purpose and have meaning linked with our creativity, we're so much better equipped to handle the ups and downs of the natural cycles of creativity. So when you're connected with your higher purpose for creating, this powerful reason why drives you forward without having to rely on your willpower or stay motivated. And very quickly, I want to just go over 7 benefits of having meaning attached to your creativity. The first is discipline isn't required. Meaning takes your inspiration and fuels it with motivation. The result, you love creating. Imagine how that would feel. Second benefit is you can't wait to get going because you're not procrastinating. Meaning provides a natural momentum that beats procrastination. Third, you're able to prioritize with so much more ease because you have focus. Meaning helps you focus on what really matters despite life's many distractions. Okay, number 4, you know what to do next. Take that in for a second. Imagine just knowing what to do next when you sit down and face the blank page. This gives you direction. Meaning gives you an inner compass so that you're not relying on people or things outside of you to make progress on your creative projects. A 5th benefit is that you have clarity because you're guided from within. Meaning makes it so much easier to evaluate decisions, feedback, and opportunities. 6th benefit, you know that your work matters. Now, if you've wrestled with doubt, just pause. Imagine feeling on purpose and knowing that your work matters. That's because meaning aligns your creative work with your higher purpose. And your higher purpose, in a nutshell, how I think of it, is how you want to grow inwardly and how you want to be of service. It's who you're doing this for besides yourself. And finally, how about a natural high, people? It feels so good to create, so you keep creating more. You're getting a positive, healthy feedback loop. Having meaning attached to your creativity promotes really a healthy, feel-good state that creatives and innovators crave. This is the wind beneath our wings. It helps us soar. So far, we've covered the first 2 keys to effortless creating. And you may have noticed that each of the 6 keys includes a task. The first key of mindset helps you identify and track the emotional and mental blocks that you routinely face and how you master your mindset. Meaning is the second key to effortless creating, which clarifies your big reason why you want to create and links your sense of meaning with your higher purpose. So here's what's coming up next. The thing I'm asked most often is how I'm able to make a living as an artist. And I could tell you all about PayPal buttons, affiliate programs, social media techniques, pricing your work, marketing your work, branding your work, selling your work. That's what I did in my agency back in the day. So these are all tactical things. And remember what I said at the beginning of this video. It's not the mechanics that keep us stuck, but rather fear and confusion. Coming up in the next video, I'm going to talk about the third key to effortless creating. And it's really, if there was a secret, it's not going to be secret anymore, but it's really the reason why I've had any success at all as an artist and creative entrepreneur. Spoiler alert, it's all about having a creative practice. So I'll see you over there in the next video.